All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Comic Book Radio. I'm your host, Peter Cimetti, and this is episode 218. It's a Wizard Wednesday. We're going to be looking at Wizard Magazine number 59. This is from July 1996. This cover sports a Superman by Joe Quesada, inked by Jimmy Palmiotti. And I wish I could have got the other cover that had SHI on it, but when I was a kid, all I remember seeing was this one. So I've had this one since 96. I haven't looked at it in a while. Maybe 10 or so years. Really flip through it, give it a good look. So we'll see what's in this thing tonight. I've got a couple of Wizard magazines. I looked at the 50th issue. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Was that show? And I think we'll look at the rest of the ones I've got. I've got about 6 of them. So this is number 2. Number 2 out of the 6. And if you guys enjoy these, maybe I'll go scouting around on eBay. Although, to be perfectly honest, man, they're kind of expensive. They're about almost $10 a piece. Can you believe it? Man. All right. So let's see. Who do we got here tonight? We got Ben. What's up, Ben? Hope you're doing well. We got Wayne in the chat. How's it going, Wayne? Wayne says, I miss my Macho Man emoji. Stupid YouTube. YouTube demonetization. Coming down strong. I have no idea what, still, you know, the specificity of it. But it is what it is. And it shall forever be that way. But yeah, I missed the Macho Man emoji too. You know, just demonetize my videos. Just say that I can't make any money off of views. No watch page ads. Leave my memberships alone, YouTube. Leave my super chats and memberships alone. At least leave the memberships alone. At least leave the emojis alone. Gordon Good Brother. What's up, Gordon Good Brother? Says, take the hits. I'm taking the hits, brother. I'm taking them. TJ Rex. What's up, TJ Rex? Gordon Good Brother says, Roddy knew the Brazilians were coming. Brazil aliens. Brazilians. What Geeks Do Network? What's up? Thank you for being here. Jefferson says the Marvel and DC cover tended to be on the newsstand. The indie covers were direct market. Ah, that would explain it. That would explain it. Dale says, I think I have this issue, or used to have it. Yeah, I don't have too many now. I had a whole bunch years ago. We're talking maybe about 20 or so years ago. Sold a lot of them. Would have been good. Would have, if I had kept all of them, would have had maybe 2 years worth or so of Wizard Wednesdays. 2 in 1 a week. But now I've just got 6. I've got 4 regular Wizard issues, and I've got the Wizard X-Men 30th anniversary book, and then the Dark book. And I managed to save, and because I scanned them before I sold my issues, the Greg Capullo Crash Course. So I'll do one episode like that, taking a look at some of those. But let's take a look at this one tonight. We got about an hour or so. Oh, first things first. Let me grab this over here. Commissions for the Alterna campaign are done. These are all of them. I'm going to go by really fast with them. So it's 45 cards here. Some of them are not Alterna characters, but a lot of them are. The ones that were Alterna characters are on Alterna Comics cardstock. The ones that aren't are on my personal sketch cardstock. And these came with the $25 comics and sketch card bundle that was available on the campaign. So to the 45 people that got these, thank you very much. And then just for the hell of it, here's some commissions that are getting, or are done, I should say. And I gotta ship those out too. Now, new comics are arriving on Friday. Allegedly. They are arriving. So they should be delivered to us on that date. That's Friday the 14th. And then I'll be packing up comics all throughout the weekend, getting those orders in the mail on the 17th. Not all of them. There's a lot. There's a lot of orders. But I'll be packing up orders that whole weekend, starting with shipping out orders on the 17th. I'm predicting fulfillment will take maybe 2-3 weeks tops, pending no, running out of supplies or boxes or whatever. Alterna Hall of Fame books are also going to be getting here very soon, sometime early next week. So those will also be shipping out. And then the t-shirts and the towels, those are in production. And I should probably have those sometime, I'd say maybe second week of July. So we got a lot of fulfillment this summer. It is a summer of fulfillment here at Alterna. Yeah, what's up, Shrek? And Bretsky the Great, but not in that order. What's up, guys? SDA, how's it going, SDA? All right, so let's take a look at this issue. No more dilly-dallying. Here we go. So Wizard number 59, again, this was July 1996. The cover price, well, that's an interesting price, $4.55, but $5.99 Canada. So $4.55 in the US, $5.99 Canada. Here's the back cover for the Crow City of Angels film, or soundtrack, or both. Looks like predominantly the soundtrack, actually. Okay, so let's open this up here. What do we got? Now, I read this one a lot when I was a kid. As you can see, it is I'm lucky the cover is still on. You can see in the light, it's got all the dings and dents and whatnot. All right, so, and I kept this one because, believe it or not, this was technically the first Wizard that I bought for myself. Number 50, which is, of course, this is issue 59. 50 is before it. 50 was gifted to me as a birthday present when I was a kid, way back whenever that was. And so, I kept all the Wizard magazines that were sentimental to me in some way, shape, or form. And then the rest, I ended up eventually buying them at comic shops, buying them on eBay, whatever. And at one point I had the first 30. And then I had a bunch from 31 to 100. Maybe only missing 25 or 30 of that run. And then I had maybe, I'd say another 30 between 100 to like whenever the hell they closed down. It was devastating to me anyway when they changed the size to standard magazine size. But this is good old comic book size before the modern era. So here's what's the contents. Here's what we got going on. Let's see. Caught in the Nexus. Talks about Mike Barron and Steve Rude back on track with Nexus. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. 30 is a casting call for the Fantastic Four movie. Here we got a first look at Billy Tucci's new manga-styled SHI. I'm seeing some familiar names in this issue. 36, Killing Machine Onslaught is coming, and we've got the goods. 38, we got Hero High School. 42, Dawn. Remember Dawn? Joe Linsner's Dawn. 44, Men of Steel. The guys behind Batman the Animated Series apply their talents at Superman. Superman the Animated Series. That's a good show, too. That's a good show. First look bonus. So we get to see Garth Ennis and Mark Silvestri's upcoming series, The Darkness. Again, this is 1996. What is that? 28 years ago? Major League. The Future is History. Your Wizard Q&A with Frank Miller. Oh boy. Okay. All right, let's dive in. There we go. Just a couple more things here. We got an ad for Battle. Oh man, I remember that. Battle Arena Toshinda. Couple of letters. Detective Comics number 700. Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan, Scott Hanna. Some friends of the channel. A couple more letters. Anybody here ever write to Wizard? Did you ever write to them, or did you, do the letter art? I did some horrible letter art one day. And look at that. There's a Cyber Frog envelope. Batman and the Tick. Spock. Jaguar God. I always dug the letter art. Like I said, when I was a kid, I did one. It's pretty bad. I might have done two, but I know I definitely did one. I just put like a letter in it that was like, I hope I win. I don't know how old I was. How old was I in 96? I was like 12. You got an ad for some Spider-Man. Is this a trading card set? Yeah, trading card set. I've been thinking lately with all the sketch cards I've been doing, especially a lot of them I've been doing scenes of cards, scenes on the cards with characters, sometimes multiple characters on a card. I'm thinking maybe in a couple years, maybe do my own trading card set with all my own art. That'd be kind of fun for King Cryptid. See, Marvel unveils World Without Heroes. Oh boy. No Iron Man, no Captain America, no Thor. Isn't this what is it? With Heroes Reborn? Something like that. Yeah, let's see. Marvel had long since laid the groundwork for Onslaught last year, when plans suddenly developed for Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld to take over the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. Time was. I use that phrase a lot when I'm looking at these. The Clone Saga of Spider-Man. Man, that's when I dipped out. Garth Knight says, the year I got out of high school. Damn, I feel old. 96. 1996. Got Witchblade over here. She meets Daredevil in a winter crossover. Question of the month. It looks like which Batman, live action Batman, is the best Batman. So this is who was around at the time. We got Adam West, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Michael Keaton. Looks like Keaton wins by 1% over Kilmer with Adam West and then Clooney. Yeah, 4 live action Batmans. I guess, if you're not counting the Batman serials. Those are old. I don't even know the name of the actor. Looks like we got an ad here for Maximum Press. Dark Child, I remember that. Remember these. Evangeline, Asylum. What the heck even happened to half of those books? Wow. Anyone here ever read Wizard Magazine? Were you guys a subscriber? Did you pick up an issue every now and then? What were your thoughts on Wizard Magazine? Used to love all the ads too. Just seeing all the ads. The ads half the time were even more informative on what was coming out. Let's see. Ron Garney drawing Silver Surfer. 20 years of Fantagraphics. Wow. There is just so much going on in this so far. It's overwhelming. I'm not going to read through the whole magazine or nothing. I'm just flipping through it to see what's what. But dang. This whole company updates page. That's pretty neat. I don't know if it was this way. I'm sure in some way, shape, or form it wasn't. But Wizard always felt a little more impartial in their reporting than a lot of the digital era, website era, comic book news. You know, they always had their kind of irreverent tone, but everyone got that, you know. And then in terms of their reporting with everything else, it seems like you're not going to find like, oh no, we're not covering this or that or the other thing because what is this, the 96, because so and so voted for Bob Dole. A simpler time in some ways, I'm sure. In other ways, I'm sure it's the same. Caught in the Nexus. So this is about Steve Root and Mike Barron. Ooh, typo. Nice. Right? I don't know. Maybe it's not a typo. Maybe aggressive is 1G. Maybe it is. I don't know. No, it's 2 G's. Nice. Do I get a no prize from Wizard? It's okay, Wizard. We get some typos too sometime in our comics. Okay. Here's a casting call on a Fantastic Four movie. Which is funny because, you know, this is yeah, this is about 2 years or so after the no budget, though in some ways still one of the better iterations of the Fantastic Four in live action. That film, executive produced by Roger Corman, was made. This is an interesting cast here. Hey, what's up, Jasper? Good to see you. We got Dr. Ben here. What's up, Dr. Ben? See, Garth Knight says, I bought it regularly up until the mid-2000s. Toy Fair magazines they did were funny. Yeah. I always tried to get a Toy Fair magazine, and they were always sold out at my local shop. I don't think they ordered too many. It was pretty difficult to get my hands on one. But that's about the same time with me too. I think like 2000, I want to say 2006, something like that, is when I stopped getting Wizard altogether. 2006, 2007, something like that. I can't remember specifically. Jefferson Roswell says, I enjoyed Wizard growing up. I didn't know that many other kids that read comics. So Wizard was fun to learn about the comics I enjoyed. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. Yeah, these are always fun. All right, let's see. Who do they got here? So, for Invisible Woman, and sometimes they're serious, I think. Sometimes they're not. Invisible Woman, we got Gail O'Grady from NYPD Blue. I could see that. Mark Harmon as Mr. Fantastic. I guess at the time I could see that. Yeah. Yeah, totally. And his friends. You know, that's... the attitude, I guess, is there. The attitude is there. But... I don't know if they say a gruff personality and voice is needed here, so why not Dennis Franz? I don't think Dennis Franz would necessarily have the voice of the Thing. I mean, he's got... It's weird enough he's on NYPD Blue with that strong Chicago accent. I think you need... Oh, the actor's name is on the tip of my tongue. I'm thinking at the time... For who? I'm not going to spend time thinking about it here. It's on the tip of my tongue, though. Yeah, Michael Chiklis, Dennis Franz, kind of the same sort of guys. Let's see. Paul says Dennis Franz is Ben Grimm. That'd be something. They'd have to switch the lore so that he grew up North Side. That's what I'm talking about, you know. He's from Chicago. And he's in New York. Oh, he's like NYPD Blue. Was he like a transfer on NYPD Blue? I never really watched that show. Did Dennis Franz pass away? I don't think he passed away, did he? I don't know. Dr. Doom, we got Jeremy Irons. Now, that's a pretty damn good choice. I kind of dig that choice, especially, you know, you get the voice. Stay in costume the whole time. I thought that for a while too. Hugo Weaving could have pulled off a good Dr. Doom. There's a couple others. I mean, if you really want to stick to Victor Von Doom kind of a thing, you could definitely play it up more. Just where, especially if you leave him in the outfit the whole time, you could kind of get something fun going there with the voice. Yeah, Dennis Farina passed away. That's correct. A Human Torch. We got Zach Morris as the Human Torch. I could actually kind of see that. You know, if I'm going to 96, again, this is 1996 with who they have at the time. That's not too bad. And you're trying to cast, you know, for the role. Like, I get where they're coming from with Dennis Franz. It's not a horrible choice. Franklin Richards. Okay, well, I don't think he's that old at that point. Plus, you know, and again, I love John Byrne, but he was one of those guys that was freaked me the hell out the way he drew Franklin. Like a tiny adult. I've talked about this before. There are some tremendously great artists. But when they draw children, it is frightening. Like, he looked kind of like a shrunken adult. Doesn't look like a child. It looks like he's got mortgage payments. Maybe, you know, an ex-wife. He doesn't look like a kid. Galactus, Marlon Brando. I mean, no, I mean, there would have to be somebody better. I get the thinking, though. I get the thinking. Robert Patrick as Silver Surfer. I would dig that. And you know, plus he's practically already there. Terminator 2 with that. Helen Hunt as Alicia Masters. I could see that too. Especially again at the time. I'm sure there's other better choices. But I could see the thinking. Terrax as Jesse Ventura as Terrax. I mean, I guess I could kind of see that too. But you'd have to... Not 96, though. You know, like 86? Jesse Ventura? I think Terrax 96 would make more sense. Would be like Schwarzenegger. He kind of kept up a bit more at that point in time. Although, I mean, I don't know. I don't specifically remember exactly what Jesse Ventura looked like in 96. But this is Predator, and that's 87. So, all right, let's see here. We got another ad, Wildstorm and Image. Here's an article about SHI. You know, I've never heard Billy talk about this book. Has he? For those that maybe follow Billy a little closer than I do. I mean, it's not like I sit down with him all the time and I'm like, Billy, tell me about 96. Where were you in 1996, Billy Tucci? What were you doing? You know, that would kind of be fun. To invite some of these people that I'm friends with in some way, shape, or form. Like, get Billy Tucci on here for just like a quick segment to be like, Billy Tucci, tell me about 1996. What were you doing? What was this SHI manga thing? Because I don't remember seeing this. Does anybody have this? Has anybody heard Billy talk about it? Does anybody remember this? Billy ahead of his time with this sort of thing. Because this, you know, Billy's, that's primarily what I remember. Man, a Billy Tucci anime, you know, a SHI anime. That would be great. I think that would probably kill it. That would be amazing. Let's see, Onslaught. Remember Onslaught? I thought this was gonna kind of really go somewhere big. And like when I was a kid. So when I'm 12 years old. And it was actually one of the things that kind of pushed me away from comics. And when I'm like 12, 13 years old. I got so hyped up for this, thinking like, oh man, this is nuts. This sounds crazy. SDA says, I had manga SHI. Oh, nice, man. I'm going to have to see if I can track that one down. Paul says, 96 Brando was at his Isla Dr. Moreau level of commitment. No, thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's an odd choice. You know? It's an odd choice. I wouldn't cast Brando as Galactus. Not even the voice. There's a lot better choices for the voice. And if you're going to use some old school perspective foreshortening kind of effects when you're filming, and you get someone in a suit, you know, you costume them up. Brando definitely would not be the vibe physically. Let's see, Spawn Chromium cards. I remember these. I never had them, but I remember seeing them. Superhero High School, 1976. What is this gonna be? I vaguely remember this. It says, hey, seeing as how school's out for most folks, we thought it might be neat to take a look back at a superhero yearbook from way back when. Just them even saying something like this, it shows that they knew predominantly who was going to be buying this. So if they're, and what I mean by that is like, so if they're putting this magazine together and they think that their audience is between 30 to 45, you're not going to be like, so since school's out, guys. You're like, school's out? School's been out for decades for me. You know, they knew that it was mostly kids, teenagers, college students, etc. that were their audience. Some people want to know, well, where did that audience really go? I don't know. Have you paid attention when I'm flipping through this flipping magazine? There's a lot of things here that at the time people would, of a younger variety, would be like, wow, that's cool. I gotta check that out. That's cool. Is there a cool factor to these kinds of things anymore? You know, I was thinking the other day, before I move on to this segment, I was thinking the other day about the fact that when are we going to start seeing local manga shops? Because that's a booming business. And I know a lot of comic shops that don't want to carry manga. But it seems like a lot of people are leaving, the hot stuff on the table maybe and letting the bookstore or whatever take care of it. But you could have an all kind of pop culture shop, you know. I'm not saying that I want to see manga take over, but I'm just talking from a business perspective. It seems like if that's the hot thing that the kids like, it's kind of interesting we don't see more of that kind of stuff popping up. You know, manga specialty shops with anime, with figures, with whatever, you know. Because that's, let's face it, when comics were booming and they were hot, especially in the 90s, those stores were popping up because it was a good business move. It wasn't weird to open up a comic shop and then you would have other things in there too, like trading cards and whatever. Let's see, Brian. No, not Brian. Why am I reading that as Brian? Oh, that's because Gordon says Brian Bloom, who played Captain America on Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, could voice Thing today. I could see that. I really liked the Thing voice in the I want to say it's like 94 or 95 Fantastic Four cartoon. The voice actor for the Thing, to me, was just like, he talks like this, you know, when he kind of got like an accent like he's in New York. Hey, Stretcho, you know, like that kind of thing. I thought that was really good. Like, that's like that's always what I would picture the Thing to sound like. And then when he sounded like that on the cartoon, I thought that was great. Gordon says, why does a Post-it note need a paper clip? I don't know if this is like a Post-it note so much as it's maybe just like a note. But I understand. Take it easy, SDA. Paul says, you have to consider the studio politics. 96 was also the year the Frighteners came out. Imagine a Jeffrey Combs Galactus. Wouldn't happen because of a lack of star power. Yeah, that's true. That kind of is what ruins a lot of that stuff. Just even, today especially, good grief. Like, bring back auditions already. Bring back auditions, especially for characters that have previously existing gravitas and fan base. Don't go in there. And I know some people like Ben Affleck as Batman or whatever. I can't get into it because it's Ben Affleck. And I know some people like it, but it's like, it's my own bias. I just can't see past it being Ben Affleck. Like, these people have become too much like celebrities as opposed to actors who can just slip into a role and disappear. Give me like Gary Oldman level-esque disappearance into a character. Who was great, I thought, as Commissioner Gordon. Gordon Goodbrother says that was Chuck McCann. Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, I mean, voice actor for such a long time, too. So many things. Let's see here. We got the yearbook. So here's Archie, and he's in handcuffs. Hope Rodriguez. So you got Lady Death. We got Archie. We got Victor Von Doom. Johann Schmidt. We got Red Skull over here. Chauncey Delbert. Am I missing the joke with Chauncey Delbert? Who is Chauncey Delbert? Because he looks like, the way he's drawn, he kind of looks like, you know, you should be Otto Octavius. That he would be. Who's Chauncey Delbert? Maybe I'll get my nerd cred revoked. I know everybody else here. Alright, now that's kind of funny. First meeting of TBKWDGA. Teen bald kids who don't get any. Alright, that's... Oh, boy. 1996 was fun. Matt Murdock. It's because he's blind. He doesn't know where to face. Holy smokes. This whole page today would be in a Twitter storm, an uproar of insensitivities. Dawn of a new era. So here we have Dawn. I saw Dawn everywhere, but I never read anything, and I never got the trading cards, and I never, you know. Anybody here read the book? Kelly, aka Kellraiser, says a lot of people had problems with Christopher Walken being in Dune for the same reason. Oh, wow. I didn't even know that Christopher Walken is in. I'm guessing you're talking about the new Dune. I haven't seen part 1 or 2. I don't remember Christopher Walken in the old Dune, so I'm guessing you're talking about the new one. Garth Knight Returns says The Frighteners was good. Early Peter Jackson. Yeah, Frighteners was good. Michael J. Fox, right? Gordon Goodbrother says Bad Boy Archie. Garth Knight says Dawn would be verboten nowadays. Kelly says, yeah, he's in part 2. Christopher Walken of Dune. I love Christopher Walken. See, maybe that's the other thing. You know, and it would have been distracting, though. Christopher Walken's in Dune. That's a weird casting. I don't really care for Ben Affleck. I love Christopher Walken, and I'll see him in just about anything where he can just be Christopher Walken and do his Christopher Walken thing. But yeah, that is kind of weird to put him in Dune. It'd be like putting Christopher Walken in Star Wars. Even back in 77, that would have been strange. This guy, he's not my kind of guy. That's my horrible Christopher Walken. This guy is using the Force. I don't know. Seems okay. Could have powers or something. Alright, Men of Steel. So we got Superman the Animated Series. Yeah, Walken was good in Sleepy Hollow. He's creepy. Yeah, he didn't say a word, which probably helped. Man, I was so psyched for this cartoon when I was a kid, and it did live up to expectations for me. Still my favorite Superman cartoon. Some great Superman stories in here. Not as good as Batman the Animated Series, but a worthy companion. Definitely. Yvonne says, way better than the recent anime BS of Superman. I'm not into so much of the stuff lately. You know, I'm aware of it. I see it. I give it a shot. Maybe I'll watch a trailer or a clip, or I'll see a preview of something, a page of something if it's a book, you know. And yeah, I would have to agree. I looked at it and I was like, what is going on here? You know, it's strange too, because back in '96, or if you go back even a couple years earlier to when Batman the Animated Series debuted, I don't think anyone was looking at this and going, this is probably the best animated Superman, or the best Superman period that we're gonna get. Or you look at Batman the Animated Series and go, this is as good as it's gonna get for Batman. You know, I thought we all were looking at it going like, oh yeah, that looks cool. I can't wait to see, you know, how they build on that. It should be even better. I don't think like 30 years later we'd all be like, so yeah, I don't think there's anything better yet. Which is weird, because if you go back 30 years, so you go 96 to 66, think about that time period, right? Now this is relatively the same kind of time period. We'll say it's 2026 now. It's basically 30 years. It's 2024. You know, if you really want to be specific and go back 28 years and say 68 to 96, it's like a different planet in terms of a lot of things going on, especially in storytelling, comics, movies, shows, etc. Art form, culture in general. It's like a different planet. And so many things had changed. So many advancements, so many different things that we didn't think were possible with some of this stuff, and it became possible. You know, where is that now? Who's pushing it? So, well, I absolutely love the Superman animated series. I mean, that's like the pinnacle. The Batman, Superman, Justice League animated series, universe, whatever that, you know, the DC animated stuff at that time, and still today, I would say is so definitive. And it's weird. It's weird how even with some of the movies and things that they did and some of the other shows, a lot of it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't resonate the same way. Oh, the Phantom. Trading cards. I loved the time period where everything became trading cards. I didn't even care if I collected them or not. I just love seeing trading cards exist. I gotta rewatch The Phantom, Paul. I haven't seen it. Oh man, 25 years maybe. Almost as long as, you know. I watched it maybe 4 or 5 years after it came out, and then I checked it out again, bits and pieces. Like caught it halfway on one day. A couple of years later, I gotta check it again. Sheldon says I would race home after school to catch the Batman cartoon on Fox. Yeah, that Fox Kids lineup, you know, that had Batman, X-Men, Spider-Man. That just was incredible. Incredible. I remember getting kind of disappointed when Batman then moved over to the WB, which is now the CW. Rights and whatnot. But Superman was over there, and, you know, then Batman went over there too. But that was still good. You just gotta, you know, change the channel a little bit. See, so here's the darkness. Look at that. This is a first look. It's crazy again, because there's such a time capsule effect with these magazines in particular. Because this is the first look at something that a lot of us look at now and go, yeah, that's been around for a long time. you know, people know about it. There's been a video game, right? Did they ever turn the darkness into any kind of live action anything? Or is that just Witchblade? Major League. DC trots out its superhero dream team with a revamp of the Justice League of America. Mullet Superman. Mullet Superman plays right wing for the New York Rangers. Justice League to me has a slightly creepy element in the idea of these fantastic godlike beings sitting in a fortress and watching the world. Grant Morrison. That is such a Grant Morrison thing to say. Sheldon says 2 video games for darkness. Look at that. Gordon says, do we think of Garth Ennis as a horror king? I don't know. I mean, it depends on your definition of horror, I suppose. Like grounded, earthly level horror. You know. Not horror in terms of what we would conventionally think as horror, I think. That's for sure. Yvonne says the early 90s was the peak when it comes to animation, as we had Disney and Warner come up with a lineup that many folks remember till this day that couldn't be replicated where they are struggling. Yeah, I agree. Young Wavy, the artist, what's up? Says, hey, I hope all is well, Peter. I recently sent you an email concerning the printing partner program. Is that something you would still be interested in? Brother, that's closed over 2 years ago. That's closed down over 2 years ago. That closed down actually maybe over 3 years ago. Sometime around like summer 2021. We're not doing that. Sorry, man. Very sorry. But yeah, like if... And I've said this before with a lot of other things too. If you go to a publisher's website and they don't have any kind of information about something, or you know something's not listed there anymore, or and it could be a book, it could be a program, it could be submissions, it could be a whole bunch of things. More than likely, it's because they're not doing it, you know. So that ended about. It's crazy for me to say it's ended about 3 years ago, but it's ended about 3 years ago, and we're not bringing it back. Best of luck with finding a printer. Let's see. Gordon says, but he did bring back the 7, except Kyle Rayner. Garth Knight Returns says, Mullet Superman instantly put a timestamp on the period. Never was a good idea to do that. I agree. Mullet Superman was weird. You know, even speaking of, like, so the cover is basically sort of kind of Mullet Superman. I also don't get necessarily, like, I get it's a cool-ish image, but I don't get really what's happening here. Is Superman coming out of like a sauna or something? Like a steam bath? I don't know. It's kind of odd the more you look at it. But yeah, Mullet Superman, I never really got it. Especially it got friggin' crazy for a time period. It was ridiculous. It was a crazy mullet. Garth Knight says it's slow motion anime smoke. It's something. Something's going on. Like what's the story here? What's the story that this cover's telling? I think I got it because it was the first time I saw one at a convenience store. You know, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll pick that up." Superman's on it. All right. You know, I didn't think too much about it, but I don't know exactly the story that's going on in that cover. All right, so the Legion of Superheroes. I definitely did not read this era of Legion of Superheroes. I don't remember that outfit at all. I don't even remember. I don't remember this character. What the heck is he? Monel? I don't remember that. No problem, Young Wavy. Best of luck to you finding a printer. Garth Knight says, mullet of steel. Mullet of steel. You'll be here all week, folks. Try the fish. This 4th of July, San Diego is going to rock. So July 4th to 7th, 1996, at San Diego Comic-Con. Let's see. 96 programming includes Saturday morning TV, Star Trek 30th anniversary, film sneak previews, comics panels, pro spotlights, after hours parties. Special guests just added Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane. Always bugs me when people go Todd McFarlane. I see that every now and then. Let's see. Then there's Donna Barr, Evan Dorkin, Mort Drucker, Ben Edlin, Paul Pope, Will Eisner, Dave Gibbons, Dave McKean, Jim Mooney, Francois Schoiten, Marie Severin, Curtis Schaffenberger. It seems like it's predominantly a Comic-Con about comics. Interesting. Saint of Killers. It's a Preacher special. No, Kelly, I don't remember him. Mon-El, he was like Superboy, but iron was his kryptonite. That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird just because of the fact that, like, so I'm, like, iron is so prevalent. That's a weird one to, they couldn't have just come up with something? That's kind of strange. They couldn't come up with some fantastical, you know, element, mineral, rock. Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember him. That's weird. Let's see. Garth Knight says Joe Quesada was hot in the 90s. His own line of event comics with Jimmy Palmiotti was pretty good. Their Ash series was good. Yeah, I kind of remember that. Yeah, and Quesada definitely was popular in the 90s. That's for sure. I dug his whatchamacallit. His art, his comics, the Time Special. Yeah. So here's a Q&A, Frank Miller. Young Wavy, let's see. Are your old videos still valid in terms of the information regarding the printers you worked with back then? It's old information. It's old information. So, you know, if I'm talking about printers that I've worked with, I'm talking printers that I've worked with, but it is old information. Printing prices have gone up quite a bit since that point in time. Let's see. Kelly says he wasn't from Earth. We're talking Legion of Superheroes. I get that, but the thing is that iron is like a universally present mineral, and it's one of like the building blocks of life in terms of many things. So it's like a weird one to give a weakness to, because just wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. You know, like kryptonite is not something that exists. in our universe, as far as we know. You know, it's radioactive particle of the exploded planet of Krypton. So, you know, they could have given something. And it's supposed to be that way because it works against his genetic chemistry, Superman. You know, so iron to kind of have that effect on a living being in a known universe. You know, this is where I start to think too much. I'm sure back then I would have been like, oh, iron, okay. Just send Iron Man in there and beat him up. Just get steel. You know, just hope Iron Man never comes across through the rift. But it would have been, I think, more fun to come up with something else. Let's see. Sinopus's printing prices have gone up at least 40% with most of the print shops I use since 2019. And that's for low-end offset print volumes, like 1,500 to 5K copies. Yeah, I'd say for a lot of printers, absolutely. Our printing prices went up something like 30%, maybe. Newsprint's on the lower end of the spectrum, but again, you deal with a lot of other problems with newsprint. I mean, I did a whole print show the other day, Young Wavy. You should go check that out, my friend. I go in depth on a basic crash course for those looking into printing. Let's see. So Frank Miller here, looking spiffy, says, I don't regard Marvel as a creative force anymore. So my Marvel bashing days are over because there's nothing there to bash. Ooh. Ooh. Cancel. These were like this is like a paragraph that would be like, maybe we take that one out. Maybe we don't blow that up to be almost half the page, you know, nowadays. If someone came along and said that, maybe we don't do that. Like that, right there. This is like a cathartic reading experience. Time was where you just this was the norm. This was the norm. What happened? When did everybody get their you know what's in a you know what tied together with a you know what? When did that happen? Oh boy. Truer today, though, now than ever before. Truer today now than during this time period. Is one of those, like, you think 96 Marvel was lacking creativity, Mr. Frank Miller. Holy. Just you wait 30 years. Just you wait. Hell, just you wait 20 years. Man, oh man. Crazy times. And this was, you know, I mean, Wizard covers Marvel. They covered Marvel constantly. Marvel was covered in this magazine. And yet here they literally have a big interview with a huge creator, someone who also was huge for Marvel at the time. Well, not at the time, but, you know, you would, I mean, he's even giving credit, you know, Daredevil with doing work on that. And they're not like, oh, if we put that and we do that, you know, maybe we don't get any more Marvel coverage, because they just would get so mad about that. So I even have to respect the fact that you maybe would get Marvel or whoever was over there. Maybe they would be pissed about something like that. I don't know. I have no idea. Hey, look, Dan Franco. You know, maybe that occurred, but it wasn't on the level of shut that article down. Don't you publish something like that. Don't you put that there, you know, whatever that may be. All right, so let's see what we got here. We got Chaos Comics. Look at that, Chaos Comics. I remember Chaos Comics. Hey, Jimmy Palmiotti with some inking tutorials and stuff. How to ink a comic book part 2. Let's see, Jimmy's tools of the trade: jet black, India ink, white paint. For the ink, he recommends Faber-Castell's Black Magic brand. White paint recommends Pro White and the Pentel Fine Point Correction pen. Brush, for me, it's a Series 7 Winsor Newton sable hair brush. Number 3 is personal preference, but some prefer number 2. Number 3 holds more ink, which makes the work go by faster, but some feel the number 2 gives them more control on the page. Templates, uses oval templates, circle templates, etc. French curve set. Zipatone, this is an adhesive transparent plastic paper with a line or a dot pattern of some sort on it. Do they even make that kind of stuff anymore? It's very, very rare if they do. X-Acto knife, necessary for inking tricks and for cutting Zipatone sheets. And miscellaneous, I keep a little dish with a sponge and water in it and a paper towel or rag next to my desk. These are used to clean the brush and crow quill while you work. You could also use those things for various effects here. But yeah, I guarantee that all of this advice here is still applicable today. It's art. It's making art. You know, maybe there's another way to do it in some way, shape, or form. But these things are still useful. Wizard did publish a book, right? Back in the day? Or am I misremembering? I thought they did publish a book of all these kinds of things. I know they have like the Bart Sears stuff. I don't know if they did the Capullo Crash Course. But anytime people are interested in even trying to get some tips on how to do certain things, this is always pretty good. Homemade Heroes. This is a fun section. I love seeing these custom figures. So Charlie Flat won a Batman and one for making the Batman and Robin here. You got a Doomsday made by Richard Kersney and Mark Locasio. Grand Moff Tarkin. They gotta figure at this point, right? Don't they? They have to. Oh man, the X Factor costumes from the 90s. Yeah, fun stuff. Cerebus, Lady Deathstrike. Very nice. Sheldon says Andy Smith on his channel went over a collected edition of Basic Training from Wizard. Oh, nice. Yeah, I thought I'd seen those published, those books out there. Very cool that Andy's digging into that, talking about that too. That's awesome. What's up, Spicer? Hope you're doing good. Says, looking forward to all the new comics from Alterna coming in. Man, I am too. It's always an anti-waiting process till the new stuff comes in. And then I love shipping them out. I love it. It's fun. I'm not being sarcastic. I love fulfillment. It's meditative. Brian Michael Bendis. Writing about Jinx. I can never get into Bendis. But here's an article about that. Yeah, all kinds of different stuff going on here. I think they're talking about the Hulk animated series. You got the Spawn animated series, Keith David as the voice. Well, Blade to be made. Snipes to be Blade. Like I said, it's kind of trippy. You know, you see all this stuff that's like, now we're all, yeah, that's been that way for a while. You know, but back then, especially, it was all brand spanking new. Whoa. J. Scott Campbell looks like he's coming right out of Beverly Hills 90210 right there. To see the picks for this month's issue of Wizard. Wildcats number 31. Legion of Superheroes number 83. And then there's a whole bunch of other comics here. Man, oh man. Garth says, love Keith David as an actor, but he always sounded too old for Spawn in my head. I can see that. I can see that. Or hear that. Like, I thought he was pitch perfect for, was it Goliath and Gargoyles? But Spawn, I could kind of see that. I mean, it's still a good casting, but I could see where you're coming from with that thought process. If anything, I thought, you know, you could get Michael Jai White and still have the same, like, a good voice too. I always pictured King Cryptid to kind of have a mix of a Peter Cullen Optimus Prime with a little bit of a Keith David in there, and maybe a touch of Larry Kenny, Lion-O. I still got the poster. Cool. I never took it out. So here's a Silver Surfer, Ron Garney. Spawn special featuring 8 free Spawn posters on sale in June. Wizard just had really sharp graphic design whoever was involved in their graphic design department, they just brought it. They brought a really nice look to the magazine. There's some manga. Oh, yeah, Michael Dorn would have been good. Yeah, he could be good too. I could see that totally. Worf. That's a good pick too, man. Drawing board. So here's a bunch of reader art. Sometimes there's people who go on to become pros. I'm not really recognizing any of the names here. Boy, so we got Super Nito, which just that kind of sounds like Super Nito. Like, that's cool. Golly gee. That's a cool Age of Apocalypse kind of Magneto Superman thing going on. Man of Steel indeed. Then we got a Silver Surfer Flash. So these are like amalgamations, maybe from Amalgam. Plastique. It's like a Mystique with Plastic Man. Wonderine. Cancel. Well, Steamy Superman isn't necessarily the graphic design department's fault. Steamy Superman is like a Joe Quesada piece. But, graphic design wise, they got all the elements nice. It's a good looking book. They always did a great job with the covers and making the logo pop and work with it. Matthew Morrow's is two of my most favorite characters, Silver Surfer and the Flash. Yeah, I could see that combo. I mean, man, give the power cosmic to the Flash. Holy smokes. That's a fun story right there for Amalgam. I felt like Amalgam was too much about making them just fight each other or making them just, oh, look, we combined the character. They could have done some really cool Elseworlds what if style stories involving some of the fun aspects right there. They could have really done some kind of massive level Infinity Gauntlet sort of thing with this like dimensional rift. This is a cool piece. With all these different crossover type characters. They're very nice. Top 10 comics, we got Preacher #1, Wolverine 100. That's when he gets his adamantium back, right? Dawn #1 is the third. #4 is SHI #1. #5 is the X-Files #1. #6 is DC versus Marvel #1. A lot of #1s on here. 7 is Hitman #1. 8 is Lady Death #1. 9 is Lady Death the Odyssey #1. And 10 is Angela #1. It says Wizard, by staying in touch with hundreds of retailers throughout the country, keeps a close eye on the country's hottest back issues. Here are May's hottest back issues. So that's what this list is. The next 10 we got Gen 13 #1, Marvel vs. DC #2, Spawn #9, Legends Dark Claw, yeah, number 1. I had that book. Spawn number 1, X-Files number 2, and Evangeline number 1, Generation X number 1, Preacher number 2, and Wolverine 75. I never got into that book. Anybody here read Hitman? Let's see, this is the fun part too. We got Wizards top 10 hottest writers. We got number 1, Peter David. We got number 2, Neil Gaiman. Number 3, Mark Waid. Number 4, Garth Ennis. Number 5, Kurt Busiek. Number 6, Ron Mars. Number 7, Carl Kessel. Number 8, Chuck Dixon. I think that's the youngest I've seen Chuck. I've never seen him not have a white beard and white hair. I just assume he was born that way. Number 9, Scott Lobdell. Number 10, James Robinson. See, Dale says I have the whole Hitman series. Good stuff. Probably my favorite Garth Ennis series. Oh, nice. Paul says Hitman and Preacher back when Garth Ennis was hammering them out. Hitman was fun. See, top 10 hottest artists. We got number 1, Todd McFarlane. Number 2, Joe Madureira. Number 3, Jim Lee. Number 4, J. Scott Campbell. Number 5, Billy Tucci. Number 6, Joe Linsner. Number 6 and number 7. But that's... I'm pretty sure that's Alex Ross. Alright. So we got Joe Linsner. And then number 7 again, Joe Linsner. But I'm pretty sure that that's Alex Ross. Just saying. I get 2 Wizard no prizes. 8, Joe Quesada. 9, Greg Capullo. 10, Adam Kubert. And number 7, I'm just going to say it's Alex Ross. Because that's totally Alex Ross. Price guide part. All right, here comes the fun part. Anybody want me to look up something in the price guide here? Anybody curious about what the price of something was back in... was July? Did we say it was July 96? July 96. Pick a comic, any comic. Let's look it up here. Let's see, how much was Amazing Spider-Man 1? 17,000. 17,000. First appearance of Spider-Man was 23,500. Spicer McLeroy says, how much is King Cryptid? Priceless. Priceless, but you guys can have it because I love you so much. You can have it for $1.99. Head on over to alternacomics.com and get issue 1 for $1.99. And if you like that one, get issue 2 for $1.99. If you like that one, get issue 3 for $1.99. Or get issue 4 also for $1.99. And the thing is that if you'd like to save on shipping, you can get them all at the same time. And after you read those first 4, if you enjoy them, go on and pre-order issues 5 to 9. Now, we did have to increase the price to a whopping $2.25. 26 more cents an issue, but I guarantee and promise you that you will absolutely feel that 26 cents was the best 26 cents extra you ever spent on anything ever. So $2.25 an issue for King Cryptid 5 to 9. And I can't wait till you guys get those in a couple of months. Let's see, Sheldon, you're looking for Neil Adams' Mr. T? T-Force? I don't think that's going to be in here. Is it going to be in here? I don't think that's gonna be in here, buddy. I got Mr. Hero and Mr. Punch. Is it called T-Force? Are you sending me on a wild goose chase, Mr. Sheldon Martin? No dice. I don't see it. Sorry. Okay, Incredible Hulk 340. Let's see. How much is Incredible Hulk 340 back in July 1996? $28. $28, Jefferson. That's when that's the McFarlane with the Wolverine claws, right? I think I sold mine, I don't know, a couple of years ago for like 80 or something. Sheldon says, might have just been T-Force. I'm not seeing T-Force. Let's see. No, I'm not seeing it. No, I'm sorry. I'm not seeing it. Not listed here. Sheldon says, how much was Spawn #1 gold foil? Alright, let's see here. SHI #1 is coming in at 35. Spawn #1. They don't have gold foil listed. They just have #1 listed as 18. They don't have the gold foil of Spawn listed, if that's specifically what you're looking for. That's #1. Web of Spider-Man #1. So I recently sold mine. 20. A lot of comics listed here. And then you got the action figures too. Action figure price guide. Always wonder, how do they determine stuff like this? Trading card price guide. Yeah. All right, let's see. Miscellaneous. Well, Comic Craft, comic book fonts. Look at that. Still kicking to this day. Shows and conventions. What is coming to your neck of the woods in July 96? By me, let's see, we got on June 16th in Portsmouth, Seacoast Comic and Card Show. Which is funny because the 15th we actually have a a small convention here, just in like a high school gymnasium. Rows and rows and rows of long boxes. Good stuff. It's gonna be fun. $2 admission to go to that one. Wow, $2 admission. San Diego Comic-Con. Let's see here. Trying to find how much it would have been to get in here. I don't see it. I don't see it. We are almost at the end of this. We got a character profile of Spawn here. Oh, it looks like this page is kind of coming off. I don't know how that happened. And then Wizard profile with Bo Smith. And we got a Magic the Gathering ad on the inside back cover. And then that's it. We're at the back. And that was it for Wizard 59. A lot going on in this issue. Not as much, obviously, what was going on in the 50th issue, but that 50th issue was like a giant-sized kind of anniversary issue. But it's still a good issue nonetheless. Interesting to take a look back at what was going on 28 years ago. Man, oh man. All right, so I've got 2 more Wizard magazines to look through. And then I've got the X-Men 30th Anniversary Special and the Dark Book, which is really fun. All villains, only villains book. Those were 2 specials produced by Wizard. And those are the only 6 issues of Wizard that I still have. And then eventually I'll do that Greg Capullo Crash Course show. We'll take a look at that. I just have the scans of those, so it won't be like a this kind of thing looking at the magazine, but that should be a fun show too. So thank you guys so much for being here with me tonight. If you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe to Comic Book Radio on Rumble, I highly recommend you do so. You can go to rumble.com/comicbookradio. I'm enjoying my time so far on Rumble. It's been fun. I can't wait what seems like in a year. I'll have all the videos on because you gotta do one at a time. But if you want to go subscribe, help me get to 100 followers on there. That'd be awesome. And while you're at it, you can also go to Alterna Comics Rumble. That's rumble.com/Alterna Comics. And subscribe on there too. Much appreciated if you do. And one last thing. I'm uploading a lot of copyright free kinds of shows, movies, cartoons on the Timey Tim YouTube channel. That's Timey Tim's Time Capsule. If you want to go check that out, there is the link. It doesn't have its own spiffy name just yet. because it's a relatively new channel. But go check it out. Lots of stuff from the 70s to 90s in terms of shows, movies, cartoons, etc. Mostly skewing towards pop culture, comics, etc. And I do upload one new video every day. Yup, that's correct, Dale. Timey is breaking out on his own. He's running his own time capsule YouTube channel. If you want to go check that out, right there. Got a bunch of videos on there, but we upload one new one every day. Just for your enjoyment. All right, guys. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for viewing this issue of Wizard with me. Wizard number 59. I'll be back. Let's see. I'm off tomorrow because I got to get some stuff done in preparation for Friday. I'm hoping to be back on Friday. If I'm not, man. I'll be back Friday. Because Saturday and Sunday I most likely will not be back because I'll be focusing on packing up orders. So I'll see you guys on Friday then. I'll see you guys on Friday the 14th. I'll have some new comics to show off. As long as they got here and arrived safe and sound, which should be the case. So I'll see you guys Friday night for an open lines show. We'll have some fun things to talk about. All right, guys. So see you then, 9:30 Eastern on Friday the 14th. I'll be taking tomorrow night off of the YouTube, but I won't be taking it off. I'll be catching up on a lot of different things that got to be prepped to get up and running with fulfillment. So thank you guys so much for spending some time with me tonight. All the best to you. And I hope until we see each other again that you have a wonderful night and an even better tomorrow. All the best, guys. Take it easy.